Josh, I think I see through the crowd. Is that you back there? Is that you? Josh, this way, around the velvet rope. This way, yes. Josh, okay. Oh yeah, okay. All right.
Can you hear me?
There we go. Microphone size is finally good.
Oh man,
sorry. A lot of people here, as you can see. I'm glad I sent the limo to pick you up. As you can see, instead of wearing pajamas, I have on a tuck suit over the pajamas. But the crowd is incredible. There, you can see Billy over there. There's Joan, Bob. 7 guys wearing sunglasses. Some of them bald. Can't tell who they are. But we're getting past the crowd, and we are here for the first, well, not televised, but the first audiovised of the Talking Smack Awards. Now, we have done this many times before, but for privacy's sake, we will be using pseudonyms for people. But Josh, as the host, how are you feeling tonight on this auspicious night?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. Calling that ride a limo was quite generous, in my opinion. A crackhead on a two-wheeler and me riding bitch is not exactly what I would call a limo.
You know, it's just how things go around here. Things were a little tight. You know, we don't live in a big city. We have to kind of make do. And that person's name was Jimbo the Third. So if you could just be a little more respectful.
Well, I apologize for Jimbo the Third. I didn't realize he was the third. He might as well have Esquire after his name if he deserves that kind of respect.
Well, he wants to be called lawyer, but he's felt the bar 3 times.
So instead he's going to run for Congress. Got it.
Oh, did he not give you his flyer?
No, he didn't give me his rally flyer.
He did ask for permission to put a sign outside your house. I told him no, that would be inappropriate at a time like this. That
is definitely fair.
So as this is the first audiovised version, why don't you take the lead on this? I will keep the crowd at bay and try to, keep this production going.
Well, welcome everyone to the first ever SMACademy Awards. I'm your host, Josh Scar. This is where we talk superheroes, movies, animation, and comics. And I'm your hostess with the mostest elitistisms because I have a snowblower.
And did you use it 2 days ago when we had snow?
No, because it didn't stick to my driveway. I'm waiting for my ability to just wave my middle finger around at my neighbors and be like, fuck you, I have a snowblower, look at me. Look at how entitled I am.
Well, I can't stop you from doing that, but Jim Bob, put them down. They can have some other refreshments. Thanks, sorry.
That's all right. Jim Bob needs to be put in his place sometimes. So before we get into the festivities of the SMACademy Awards, we do need to hear from our good friends Joey, Tim, and Slade over at the Game Club Pod. We'll be right back after these messages.
Join me, Joey, and my co-hosts,
Tim
and Slade,
at the Game Club Podcast, where every 2 weeks we review video games not too dissimilar from a book club. Looking forward to seeing you there, idiots.
Yeah, you stupids.
Tim, do you want to jump in on this?
I will not bandwagon audience abuse.
So we have a handful of categories that we did hand out over our social medias, and we had people submit their answers either through the predetermined answers that I was like, these are the things I liked, and you can write in if you want to. So we're going to start with everyone's favorite Talking Smack episode of the year. And the way this is going to work is it's just a free form conversation. Like, we're just going to share what we think, what everyone else has said, and kind of move on. Because the whole point of this episode is to just reminisce about the year that was, or in this case, the decade that was, because this last year was a decade. And we're going to get into it when we talk about some of the movies that came out this year. And we're going to be like, that was now? So the first category for the SMACademy Awards is the favorite 2023 episode of Talking Smack. The listed category, or the listed episodes, were The Lore of Guilty Gear, which was like our second most downloaded episode of the year after the new DC universe, which I'm shocked that one got.
Merchandising, where the real money from the movie is made.
Mel, I'm sorry. Mike, no, Mike, we're not doing that right now. We're doing other things.
There is a lot of merchandising with Guilty Gear, but geez, to call them out like that. Mike, calm down. Go talk to your son.
So the nominees as listed are The Lore of Guilty Gear, Rent-Free Moments, Episode 100, Talking Smackdown's Volume 4, Good Burger 2, Godzilla Minus One, Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire. And we had a write-in for the missed assignments starring the dashing Matt from Decaying with the Boys. I don't know who wrote that one in, but I have a feeling I might know. So in reverse order, Rebel Moon had a 5% vote. Good Burger had a 10% vote. 15% was Godzilla Minus One. And there's a two-way tie for second place with Talking Smackdown's Volume 4, Episode 100. The Lore of Guilty Gear, and everyone's favorite moment of the year, which it's mine as well, Rent-Free Moments.
Definitely.
I think that's one where you and we hit a good sweet spot in the conversation. And it was a really good episode to go back and listen to, either through an edit or just listening. And I think that's probably the one episode I've gotten the most compliments on from people as well.
No, it was definitely a great episode. It was just a bit of reminiscing, a bit of nostalgia, and yet it was also, we did some personal stuff, some storytelling with our families, and it was a meaningful episode.
Yeah, and I think we'll definitely come back to something like that. That'll be another reoccurring thing, like What You Doings and Talking Smackdowns. We'll try to space it out a little bit, just in case there is some repeating, but I've had a few moments pop into my head that are separate from the ones we discussed, and I can't wait to discuss them again. But I think it's not unanimous, but it is a pretty strong winner of the best Talking Smack episode, Rent-Free Moments. I as I said, we're not really taking winners. It's just a poll that we're just freeform discussing, but I would say that is our best episode of the year. So if this is your first episode listening to us, why? But also go and find that one.
Stop now, go to a better episode and come back.
So the next category we have is favorite comic character. We have a few write-ins. We have Denji from Chainsaw Man from Slade. I don't know. I'm just assuming, but that's I think it's a pretty safe guess.
Damn you, Archibald.
Erica Slaughter. I'm not familiar with that character.
Something's killing the children. I may have written that one in.
Okay. That's a comic I need to get into. I've been meaning to try and find a trade or something like that. That's another thing I got to get into. I found out my comic shop is closing today.
No.
I got to go to the bad one. Like, it's fine, but the staff is a bunch of jerks and I don't like them. But I got to get in there anyway because I got to try and get more of our posters in there so people can be like, "Hey, what's this stupid thing?" So Harley Quinn, and then there's a not applicable. So someone just thought they had to write in, so they wrote in nothing. In reverse order, we have Nightwing, Wreck Rap, who I think is criminally undervoted here. Wreck Rap is a demon from the Amazing Spider-Man comic who lives in Purgatory during the Inferno arc with, I think it's Chasm is Ben Reilly's new name as a villain. And he gets saved by Spider-Man and gets imbued with some powers and becomes Wreck Rap, which is Parker backwards.
I'm ashamed that it took me so long to figure that out. As in, I just now realized it.
And he is the best, and I need more of Wreck Rap. He is the character of the year, in my opinion. Next up at 19%, we have a two-way tie between Radiant Black and Batman, which I think is pretty good company. And then Spider-Man takes home the win, which that's like Peyton Manning winning the MVP. It's just like, might as well give it to him. Like, no one else has done anything. Might as well give it to him.
I was gonna ask if the not Harley Quinn, was not written in by anybody for the character of the year, like Punchline or whatever her name is. Oh
yeah, the Joker's new girlfriend.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was that this year? Is that a nominee for that was this year?
But I kind of want to insert Bubbles hardcore because anytime I read about her, that's all I can hear is someone's like, "We're making Harley, but hardcore."
It is Altera Strong at this point. All right, favorite video game character. This one I think might be misspelled, but it says Link because he's quite. I think they meant to say quiet, which that's a unique way of voting for someone, is just because they don't talk.
I can see that because a protagonist in video games who is silent and either you can choose dialogue options or people just talk to them and they don't respond. You allow yourself to insert more into that character. One of my favorite video games ever is Bloodline Masquerades, and all the NPCs are voiced, and you can choose for your avatar, you can choose their dialogue responses. One of the huge criticisms coming out is that the new game, they're finally making a sequel to it 20 years later, it will be voiced, and people are like, no, with this much customization, with the selection of the dialogue choices, the different clans that you can choose your avatar to be from, that you are now giving me a voice, you are also taking away my internal voice. So I can kind of see that.
Yeah, I know there was a big controversy with Final Fantasy X when they finally got rid of, or when they finally started using voice acting. I know there were a lot of people that at the time were not happy with that. But I mean, I always liked voice acting if it's done well in a performance, which I mean, like you would hope that it's done well. It just adds an extra layer, but maybe we'll get into it a little bit after this category. But Tears of the Kingdom, they went a little too overboard with their voice acting, in my opinion, because how massive the game was. One of the spoilers for Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, one of the things you have to do in the game is you have to recruit party members, essentially, and then they like bless you with their spirit. But in the process of gaining each party member's spirit, you go through this really drawn out story of like, long ago, I was with King Rauru and we fought Ganondorf and we lost, and it's every time. No. And it's every, which like I get. Matt and I talked about this in a What You Doing, where you don't know where someone is taking up the game, so you kind of have to give that backstory for the character and like what they're blessing upon Link.
Right.
But it's so fucking long. And I'm just like, I don't care. Moving on. Character of the year, favorite video game character. We have 2 votes for Link, 1 vote for Riju from Tears of the Kingdom. We have Aloy, who is voted by Alex. I'm 100% sure.
Yeah.
Then we also have 2 votes for Peppermint. What are you doing over there?
I occasionally click something to see what happens. I clicked that 20 seconds ago.
This is why we can't have nice things, Alex.
I know.
11% of the vote came in for Peppermint. And then we had a tie, actually, which feels appropriate considering the first place, because 33% of the vote went to a handful of other people. But 28% of the vote tied. Miles Morales and Peter Parker, both Spider-Man, won favorite video game character of the year.
Yes.
Which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
I think both of them deserve some recognition. Yuri Lowenthal put in a great performance as Peter Parker, as the evil Peter Parker. Have you seen the clip of him when the Craven Brute comes in dressed as a bear?
No. That sounds fantastic though.
He's in the black suit already, so he's kind of being corrupted, and he's just looking at the bear dude, and he just goes, "I have something to tell you. I'm all out of honey." This is the best line in the entire game. It's fantastic. Yuri's having a great time with it.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's Spider-Man 2 is a good time. I don't think it's game of the year quality anything, but I do think it's worth anyone who enjoys Spider-Man.
That's absurd.
So this is we're going to get into one of the first categories that I did not put on the poll here. Biggest disappointment of 2023. So this could be movie, video game, comic, book, TV show, whatever comes to mind. And you can have a few seconds to vent about it. For me, it's Tears of the Kingdom. I've shared my thoughts on this plenty of times, so I'm not going to linger too long, but this was a game that was coming off of a near perfect game in Breath of the Wild. The only thing missing, in my opinion, from Breath of the Wild was an engaging story, but the game wasn't hurt because of it. And then in Breath of the Wild, they just went, here's everything. Here's Minecraft. Here's a story. Here's characters. Here's party. Here's just 3 different worlds that you can visit. One is barren and boring, but you have to do certain things in here to advance the plot. here's the main world that's been destroyed because of what's happened. And then here's a few things up in the sky that are also boring and pretty much useless. And also on top of things, let's just make an added twist and say that because of this upheaval, the weapons have rotted. Despite what they might be made of, the weapons have rotted, and to make them better, you have to fuse them with other things. You can fuse them with a rock. You can fuse them with elements like diamond or rubies or sapphires, or you can fuse them with other rotted materials and increase their power that way. But in doing so, you're also going to clip said weapons through the ground because we're too foregone with everything else that we're doing to worry about the logistics of these sort of things. I want to love Tears of the Kingdom so much. I literally have given up on it. I think I'm literal maybe 90 minutes away from finishing the game.
Oh.
But I don't know how long that 90 minutes is going to be because I don't know what is going on in this game. I tried to activate the final mission. It's like, hey, go to this southern jungle place and go in the chasm there.
Yeah.
Follow the statues. I did. Nothing happened.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what to do. And so I'm just done. And that's my biggest disappointment of the year is Tears of the Kingdom.
So for me, I'm going to say my biggest disappointment of the year is got to be the DCEU. Because I think Aquaman 2 coming out and bombing and then the Marvels, you had Blue Beetle, you had Shazam.
Well, the Marvels wasn't DC.
Well, it's just a culmination that we're ending this year on this thud. It's just a thud. It's not even like a resounding thud. It's not the tree falling in the forest where you can contemplate it. It's just somewhere out there's a little thud. It's kind of like having when you have animals in the house, there's a little bit of a crashing sound and you're 90% sure that it's not someone breaking in. So you just yell at your cat to stop knocking something around and go back to sleep. It's that kind of thud. It's just life. And after the last, 15, 16 years of the cinematic universes of the MCU, the attempts of the DCEU, to just end the year with just a splat, you can't even cry over it. That's, to me, what is disappointing, because I was hoping that there might be a little bit of lightning left in that bottle, that Aquaman 2 would suddenly just kind of pop and just go, and we're like, it's like the first time. No one expected it to earn $1 billion. It just did. It just came out and just kept going and going. And you're like, well, okay, that's kind of odd. We don't know why this is happening, but it did. That is my sorrow. We talked about it in the superhero fatigue episode, but to now have the confirmation that this year, the whimper of whatever it is, our golden decade of geekdom, has definitely tarnished. That's what makes me sad, because I wasn't cheering against these things. Like, I wanted Shazam 2 to be good. I really enjoyed Shazam. The first one, I wanted The Flash to be excellent because Michael Keaton, I've been saying forever, like, give Michael Keaton another chance, bring him back, do Batman Beyond. Come on, he's right up there. He looks great. He can terrify. I mean, come on. That Michael Keaton, I believe, is the only villain in the MCU to pull a gun on Spider-Man and scare the crap out of him. that like 25-second threatening in the car outside of prom is horrifying. It's Michael freaking Keaton. And then you have Blue Beetle came out, the first outwardly Hispanic or Latin descent superhero movie, beat Marvel to the punch by giving one their own film. Came and went, dumped on HBO Max like 6 weeks later, and now we have this final pathetic whimper. That to me is a disappointment.
That's very well said and very on brand for us. Yeah, I haven't even seen any of the DC stuff this year beyond Shazam. I had no interest in The Flash. After all the things that was going on with Ezra Miller and their criminal rampage throughout the state of Hawaii and the allegations that came out against them. And then I really wanted to see Blue Beetle, but I did not have the time. Yeah. And it was one of those movies that came and went so quickly. I want to pick it up on Blu-ray, but at the same time, I don't want to pay full price for it just from the things I've heard. Like I've heard it is fun, but it's very generic. And I, much like people who didn't want to go see this movie in theaters, I don't want to pay full price for something that I'm only going to watch once.
Yeah.
And I also don't want to subscribe to HBO Max because fuck HBO and Max and Discovery.
So yeah, I'm not a hater. I want things to be good. I loved our Marvel episode. You know, it got some pretty bad reviews. Obviously, nobody went and saw it, but we liked it. It was fun. It was good.
Fun.
You know, I want to enjoy what I observe. I'm not one of those people who watches things just to hate it and find an excuse to rant. To me, that's boring.
Yeah, and that's not what we do here. We try to find the silver lining, or among other things, we try to figure out what could have worked in these sort of things. Like we're not stealing directly from I have some notes, but we're kind of putting a toe in the same pool.
Exactly.
All right, so moving on from our biggest disappointments into favorite TV characters of 2023. The list of nominees are Ahsoka, Captain Christopher Pike from Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Joel Miller from The Last of Us, Ellie from The Last of Us. Does Ellie have a last name?
They've never released her name officially.
Got it. She might as well be Ellie Miller. She's his adopted daughter.
Hell yeah.
That's one that I never got to come back to either. That I was dealing with a lot of illness around that time last year. When we were talking with Caesar last week, I was on the upswing from COVID. So like my throat was going and you could hear how nasally I was, but is almost a year to the day when we were supposed to do Avatar with Justin. And I'm like, I'm not missing another one. Thank God I don't have to go to a theater for this one. Cause like if Avatar was a day and date release,
yeah,
I would have been on that episode.
Yeah.
Just so Justin knows.
Justin doesn't believe us.
It's true. Nor should he. So other votes that were given, Aaron Yeager from Attack on Titan, which we'll be talking about in a couple weeks. Mizu from Blue Eye Samurai. And then this is one I wrote in because one, I love her. And two, What If Season 2 has been a really bright spot in a bad year for Marvel. Captain Peggy Carter. I think Captain Peggy, Captain Carter, whatever, Captain Britain, whatever you want to call her. Haley Atwell brings it. I'm sorry. She is having fun with it. And her role in Multiverse of Madness as Captain Carter was great. And you can tell she's still having fun with it.
Oh, yeah. She was fantastic in Mission Impossible 7, Part 1, Part 3, or whatever it is. She was...
But not Part 1 because it didn't do well at the box office, so we're going to rebrand.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Swoon. Mm-hmm. There's some favoritism here, but if it wasn't for her couple of episodes in What If Season 2, I probably would have voted for Captain Pike. Because Strange New Worlds is fantastic. Like I'm not a Trekkie. I'm not a Trek person by any stretch of the imagination. But Strange New Worlds is a lot of fun. And I would say that a Paramount Plus subscription is worth it just for Strange New Worlds. But in terms of who might win the favorite TV character, 16% of the vote went to Ellie. 16% of the vote went to Captain Christopher Pike. And then we have a tie between Ahsoka and Joel.
Interesting.
I feel like there's name recognition, and also The Last of Us is probably a nominee for That Was This Year.
That was this year?
I'm wasn't it, or was it last year already?
No, I have no idea, man. It's been a decade of a year.
Let's go through our Talking Smack Rolodex and we'll find it here. The Last of Us, March 15th, 2023.
Are you serious? Wow.
Yeah, that ended this year.
I was thinking, because it was 6 episodes, right? 6? Yeah.
6 or 8, something like that.
I thought it started like December of last year. So I was like, oh yeah, so that was like an early January thing. No, man, March.
Yeah, it was mid-January that it debuted.
Wow.
So we're almost a full year in. And there have been a lot of like Twitter trends going around. I forget the name of the episode, but the episode with Bill That episode is still so good.
It's fantastic.
That's another episode where I'm just so mad that I got sick that I couldn't be a part of that conversation. And I worked so hard in that thumbnail too. Joel and Ellie hiding from us. And just chef's kiss. So Joel and Ahsoka take the favorite character of 2023. I'm mostly okay with that. I think Ahsoka isn't much of a character in her own show. She's more of a plot device for the show.
Yeah.
But I mean, I also think Ahsoka as an actual character from the Clone Wars she is one of the best Star Wars characters made post episode 6.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you obviously have S tier character Dexter Jetster from Attack of the Clones.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone else, Ahsoka is right behind Dexter Jetster. So I have no problem with people recognizing Ahsoka's greatness. Joel, I think, is a little bit of a dark horse here because that's a dark ending for a character. Lying to his surrogate daughter and just dooming the world.
You know, but the thing about Joel is that as long as Pedro Pascal is our internet daddy, he can do no wrong.
That's very true and very fair.
And apparently soon he may be Marvel's daddy as Mr. Richards, Mr. Fantastic.
That's something, if I can poke the engagement bear for a second, one thing I've been weighing about doing for the podcast is whenever they announce the Fantastic Four, whether it's piecemeal and they go, okay, Pedro Pascal is Mr. Fantastic, crazy drug dealer girl for Mission Impossible is the Invisible Woman, and so on for the rest of the casting. Like, would we want to do a bonus episode, if not like a full-fledged episode? If it's a lump casting announcement, maybe we'll just do a regular episode based on the casting announcement and just kind of lump a lot of the Marvel discussion into it as well. But casting Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic in 2015 would have been amazing. In 2024, you're playing with a very short timeline.
Yeah.
Because he's already in his mid-40s. He's already booked up for a lot of different things. And I don't know that it's a Band-Aid casting is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's a great casting choice if you're just planning like a trilogy where maybe the first movie is not necessarily an origin story, but it's an introduction story to these characters within the playground that is the MCU. And then 2 and 3 is like passing the torch off to the Richards children, which I'm blanking on their names right now. But I don't, there's something about casting someone in their mid-40s and the way the MCU is structured that I don't buy that he is going to work as Reed Richards for 10 years. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. did it. He was Iron Man. In 2008, he was in his early to mid-40s anyway. And by the time he retired, he was in his 50s.
You know, not to be ageist or anything like that, but there is something a little odd about picking somebody who could try to carry an action figure torch into their mid to late 50s, early 60s like that. I mean, Liam Neeson is still doing it, but he's doing it with a lot of editing, a lot of cutting, and it was kind of like this.
But he's also not an action figure unless you count Qui-Gon Jinn.
Crap, what was that? The Taken films, 1 and 2 were fantastic, I
don't think Funko Pops count though, because like when you say action figure, I assume that you mean like merchandising. You have to have merchandising opportunities with these movies and these characters.
Right. What I mean is that to be able to carry the torch believably on screen, and he's supposed to be doing all these mannerisms and movements, and there's an elegance to him. I'm not saying people in their 50s can't, but it is a little odd to pick someone who is that much more established, especially, I mean, Deadpool 2 famously said it. We need somebody young. We need somebody who can carry the franchise for 10 to 15 years.
Well, the other thing that goes with this idea of casting is if I'm Marvel, if I'm Disney, I'm assuming we can continue to work with Sony and partner up on Spider-Man
Yeah.
because it's working for both people as far as it's giving Sony enough money to keep making not Spider-Man movies, and it's working with Marvel because they get to put Spider-Man in more movies and they get to put him in an Avengers lineup.
Yeah.
And Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four, for the most part, are peers of Peter Parker. Reed is typically a little bit older than Peter, like 3 to 10 years, depending on which continuity, if you're talking like Ultimate Universe or just the regular 616 MCU. And Johnny Storm is usually a peer of Peter, like he is within 1 or 2 years of Peter's age. And Pedro Pascal is as Reed Richards is more than likely, if we ever get that Spider-Man Fantastic Four crossover, he's gonna take on that Doctor Strange Iron Man daddy issues role for Peter,
Probably. Yeah.
which is annoying because Peter doesn't need that and we as an audience don't need it. But you still want someone that can be a peer to Peter.
Yes.
Like his intellect should bring him up to Reed's level, but there should also be a respectful age difference, not just like he's 5 years away from getting Social Security. Peter's 5 years away from being able to drink.
Yeah.
Like that's not the dynamic here.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point about it. It'll be interesting to see which casting, which direction they want to go to, because my other concern about it is that if they do that casting where they have someone like an older Susan Storm and Reed Richards to introduce that their kids are the ones, then we have the unfortunate dynamic which we're in right now with the MCU, which is that we're in year like 5 or 6. I think Fantastic Four is supposed to be 2025 or 2026. Then we're in like year 5 or 6 of post Endgame. We're still transitioning to a new team. The first team was built in like 3 years. 3 years, one phase. This one is like phase is 3 phases, 6-7 years, and we still don't have our established group. So
Yeah, and that's one thing we were talking about previously. Franklin is one of the children. I don't know why that just popped into my head. I'll try and dig through my Rolodex and see if I can't remember the daughter's name.
not you, Franklin. We haven't announced your category yet. Please sit down.
But yeah, the phase 5 should have kicked off with either Sam Wilson's Captain America story, where he finally decides to become Captain America and he's gonna form his new Avengers team, or they needed to figure something out, because that's the thing people are coming back for.
Yeah.
Is the Avengers. And that's kind of what not Kang Dynasty, Quantumania was building towards, was, oh, we have discovered a new threat that needs an Avengers level. Not really though, because Ant-Man and his group of shrinky people have defeated one variant of him. There is a threat out there that may need an Avengers team.
Yeah.
But the movie never addresses that issue.
Not particularly.
It just, the audience knows, but Hank and Scott and everyone else, they don't know. They don't care. They just won the day. So like that's one of the biggest flaws in the MCU right now, is that they're only just now building towards an Avengers team, and it's a young Avengers team that we still don't know even who is going to make up the majority of the team, besides Ms. Marvel, Kate Bishop, maybe She-Hulk. And then there's rumors that Wanda's kids are going to be on the team as well, which that makes no sense to me.
No.
Considering in current continuity, Wanda's dead and her kids exist in an alternate reality.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Oh, and America Chavez.
Oh, yeah.
Got to shout out America Chavez.
Mm-hmm.
But let's move on. We're giving away awards that mean nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Just like every award. Next category is favorite comic of 2023. We have the original ballot of Amazing Spider-Man, Batman, Radiant Black, Nightwing, and then we have our write-in responses. Our write-in responses are Chainsaw Man from Slade, Archibald, Something is Killing the Children from Alex, and then a couple of I didn't read comics this year. So moving into the actual winner, we have 7% of the vote went to Radiant Black and Nightwing, which that's pretty awesome. Both are my 2 favorite comic book characters of the year. 13% of the vote went to Batman, And then 40% of the vote went to Spider-Man, and I'm guessing that is strictly name recognition.
That has to be name recognition. Not that I'm complaining.
I'm not complaining either because I think Zeb Wells is writing a really good Spider-Man story right now. It's a lot of fun. I think if people were diving into some of the other comics out there, that maybe Spider-Man wouldn't be as popular as he is.
Yep. And since this is an awards show, I believe we can have Tobin show up. Tobin, getting it on behalf of all Spider-Man, correct? Correct, yes. You can pick up the trophy next to the open bar. Yes, it is only ginger ale. All right.
All right, moving right along, we have favorite TV show of 2023. And we have our original categories of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, The Last of Us, Star Trek Lower Decks, Gen V, Ahsoka, Marvel's What If, Star Trek Picard, and write-ins. Our write-ins go to Attack on Titan from Slade. We have Loki, probably from Alex.
Yeah, actually, that was me.
We have Lessons in Chemistry. That's me. We also have Shrinking, which shout out to that person. I forgot Shrinking was this year. That goes into the that was this year category as well. And then we have Silo, which I'm going to take a guess. That's one of the guys from I Have Some Notes. They were just talking about that in their Discord, which anyone listening should join because it's a good community and it's fun times talking about movies in there. And then with the original ballots, the winner with 29% of the vote is The Last of Us for our favorite TV show of 2023. Picard and Lower Decks both got 10%. Strange New Worlds got 5%. Ahsoka got 14%.
Oh, wow. I do need to watch Silo because I unabashedly have a crush on Rebecca Ferguson.
Don't you mean Haley Atwell slash, Michelle Monaghan. That's right.
Okay,
There you go.
All right.
Yeah. Tom Cruise's three wives in the Mission Impossible movies that all remarkably look the same and close enough to Katie.
Yeah.
What's her? Katie Dawson's Creek? Katie Holmes. That's her name. Sorry, everyone. And I'm still trying to figure out if I can't pull Reed Richards' daughter from my hat. So let's just keep trugging along here. Our fourth to last category, because we have one other thing. Favorite video game of 2023. We have the original ballot of Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Baldur's Gate, Super Mario Wonder, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and write-ins. I'm guessing this one came from Ricky. Fae Farm was a favorite game of the year. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is another write-in there.
Oh, that was actually fun.
Which I need to pick that one up. Or not pick that one up. I need to actually put it in my system and start playing it. I've had it since June, whenever it came out. But to get to the vote, we have 15% of the vote went to Spider-Man and Tears of the Kingdom. 10% went to Super Mario Wonder, and 50% of the vote went to Baldur's Gate.
Heck yeah. Baldur's Gate.
And that's one I need to pick. I need to find out what system I can play that on.
You can play it on PS5. You can also, it has been released you can release it for the Xbox system. It just dropped a week or so ago. And of course, PC. I will warn you.
I've heard it's a massive game.
You're looking at your first playthrough being like 150 to 180 hours.
I don't got that kind of time.
My wife and I, we've been playing it because they have couch co-op. So for on the PS5, I think they do on the Xbox too. We've been doing it that way, and we're maybe like 30, 40 hours in, and we're barely in Act 1. There's 3, yeah. because we're the kind of people who we explore everything. We talk to everything. Well, when she found out that you can speak with animals on literally any animal, we talk to every animal. It's fantastic. And there's randomly, like, some of them will just be like, why are you talking to me? But then others will start telling you a story or asking you or giving you missions. Like, yeah, can you go get that back for me? I left this in this other house, but they're really mean. And they have a bad cat. It's like, I will assist you to the end of my life, dear child.
So before we get into our last two categories, there's one thing that I was just astonished by looking into some of the things that went into making the lists of categories and the nominees. And that was, how the hell did these movies come out this year? Mm-hmm. As I've said, it's been a decade of a year, and I don't remember having sat down and seen these movies other than like a couple of them where I'm like, oh yeah, I was in Arizona, I was in California when I saw this. So this is just like a special bit of that was this year. And this could be movies, TV shows, video games, what have you. I'm kicking this one off with Peter Pan and Wendy. I'm shocked that even came out. I know it was a Disney Plus release, but like, talk about arriving with nothing. Like, I have vague memories of talking with you, Alex, about Jude Law as Captain Hook, and then just like nothing.
Oh my gosh, it did come out this year. I thought that was like last year. That was in April. You had Jude Law,
Yeah, I know.
Shahidi. That was this year. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I completely agree with that was this year because I just nope.
Another that was this year. Expendables 4. That was this year.
That came out.
This year.
I'm all in on that because I'm up for a terrible movie. And the first Expendables was really good. The second one was just fun. Third one, and then they've been teasing the fourth one
It's
forever.
been diminishing returns ever since number 2. I agree.
Yeah.
Another that was this year nominee, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Oh, come on. That we knew that was this year.
That was this year.
Yeah, we knew that. And a sequel's on the way.
No, I would have said that came out maybe last year, 2 years ago. I would not have said that came out in 2023.
Expendables 4 came out in September.
It came out that fucking late.
Oh my god.
I would have thought that was a March release.
Where was I? I mean, I know
You know what else came out this year?
What?
65.
Oh my god.
Adam Driver fights off in Jurassic Park. That was this year.
Oh my god, I forgot that came out. Oh, because that was actually on my list of things to see. And then I was just like, and the more trailers I saw, the more I'm like, this is going to be bad.
Another that was this year. The Meg 2.
I wanted to.
That was this year.
That's sitting on my Max watch list, and I was about to watch it one evening with my wife because she loves bad movies, and we invited some friends over for her birthday, and so we're sitting on the couch. We go to queue it up, and one of our friends goes, "I just saw that 2 nights ago," and we're like, "Oh, it was so you'll enjoy it? It's bad?" And she went, "No, I can't." So we watched Haunted Mansion instead, and we all loved it. As much crap as it got for losing a bunch of money and stuff.
If they had released it in like late September, in preparation for Halloween, it could have made some money.
Yeah, instead they released it mid Barbenheimer, even though they knew it was just going to be buried. But it was fun. It was cute. I understand.
So this is one that isn't necessarily like that was this year. The movie, the quality of the movie, the content of the movie is not that was this year. It's more what happened with the movie as it released. Sure. It's the Disney Plus exclusive movie Crater.
Is that the one that came out and like 2 days later they tanked it with all the other stuff?
2 weeks later they took it off the platform for no reason.
Yeah.
Other than they're doing their cost cutting bullshit.
Yeah, the tax write off that they're able that if they remove it from any streaming service, including their own, they can count it as a diminished property for tax reasons, and effectively its worth becomes zero. So it's a tax write-off, yeah.
But you can rent it from Prime Video or iTunes for $3.99.
You can. They tanked it off of Disney Plus, and you can rent it. Wow.
Sure did. This is probably the winner of that was this year. Secret Invasion.
If you watched the Marvels like we did, you as well wonder like that was supposed to win this year. Is that the same Nick Fury?
A couple more just looking at the list here. Creed 3. I feel like that one like I remember this year, but it kind of faded pretty quickly.
Yeah, we effused over that quite a bit, and yet when they announced that they're already like about to film 4, it's like, oh yeah, that's about time for that, isn't that? Yeah.
Shazam! Fury of the Gods was this year, which I only remembered that because I was in Arizona at the time.
Yeah.
Extraction 2 came out this year. When did that happen?
It did?
Yeah.
On Netflix?
Yeah.
Did anyone watch it?
Apparently not. Everyone's still watching Red Notice.
Extraction 2, a sequel. June 6th. It came out June 16th? They announced a sequel?
They're making an Extraction 3?
Yeah, they announced. Who watched this?
I don't know. Knock at the Cabin happened this year.
Oh, yeah.
Dave Bautista and everyone are in a weird cult that thinks the world is going to end, and maybe it is because it's M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh, yeah.
Renfield was this year.
Yeah, that was this year. That was fun.
All right. So send us your That Was 2023 suggestions, because this is one that, like, it's like a Bernstein Bears Mandela effect sort of thing, where it's like, no, that didn't happen. Fast X came out this year. That was May of this year.
Oh, my gosh. That's right. It did. It did.
All right, so moving into our final two categories for the first ever Talking SMACademy Awards. I added an extra line there. Favorite animated movie of 2023. We have nominees being Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the Super Mario Brothers movie, Elemental, Wish, TMNT Mutant Mayhem, Nimona, and surprisingly, there were no write-ins for this one.
Really?
Everyone voted for one of these five.
Interesting.
For me personally, my favorite animated movie of this year was Nimona. I thought the animation was fantastic. The message was beautiful, and the performances were just phenomenal. This Nimona got 19% of the vote. There's a tie for last place between Elemental and Mutant Mayhem at 10%. And then in a little bit of an upset, which I'm going to blame Slade for this one, Spider-Verse got 29% of the vote, and Super Mario Brothers got 33% of the vote. So, Slade, I'm blaming you for that one.
Yep, I blame Slade. I 100% blame him for that. No.
All because that damn Peaches song, which, like, screw the Foreign Press Association or whatever it is that does the Golden Globes. Like, they wanted the clicks for Peaches and for the opportunity to have Jack Black perform. And so transparently stupid. Like, no thank you. It's to nominate Peaches over almost any of the songs in Wish is just asinine to me. I don't care that Wish is probably not going to win. They'll probably give it to I'm Just Ken, because the Academy doesn't, or not the Academy, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association doesn't understand irony.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're going to give it to a guy for singing a song about how he's an alpha male is a little ridiculous.
No. I should have written in Suzume, because that was probably my favorite of the year.
Suzume, that's a good one. I was thinking about putting it on the original grouping, but I figured these are probably, well, Suzume technically doesn't count. Like, for us, we saw it in 2023, but it actually released theatrically in 2021. So
Really? Oh, okay.
yeah, I think the US got it theatrically in like late 2022, and then they've just been working on home video and dubbing and all
Yeah,
that.
right. Yeah, it's kind of like how Evangelion 3.3+1 came out like 2 years ago for streaming, but they finally released the Blu-ray like 3 weeks ago.
Sort of like Attack on Titan, the final season, part
Yeah.
1, part 3, part 2,
Yep.
part 3, whatever it is they're doing, which we'll be covering in a couple weeks. Slade will be back to put a cap on Attack on Titan with us as they release the dub for the final episode or final movie, however you want to describe it. But our final category of the 2023 season, the winner of the big SMACademy Award, we have favorite live action movie of 2023. Nominees being Guardians of the Galaxy, John Wick Chapter 4, Oppenheimer, Godzilla -1, Barbie, and someone wrote Leave the World Behind, which is not one I've heard of, so I'm going to have to look that one up.
We should give it credit. So before we do that, before we make the announcement, let's look up Leave the World Behind. Jim Bob III, if you would please keep everyone in their place where we look this up. Julia Roberts, Mashallah Ali, Ethan Hawke, Mahala and Kevin Bacon, a post-apocalyptic psychological film. Just released December 8th on Netflix. Interesting.
Valeria Richards, by the way, is Reed Richards and Sue Storm's daughter. I had to look that one up because it was just not coming to me. So now that little piece of information is done and in everyone else's brain, the vote goes as follows. 0% went to Oppenheimer. 11% went to Barbie.
Are you kidding me? Wow.
I am serious. No votes for Oppenheimer, which even one vote would have swung this because we have a 3-way tie for best movie of the year on Talking Smack. 28% of the vote went to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, John Wick Chapter 4, and Godzilla Minus One, which means, Alex, you and I are the tiebreakers, and Godzilla Minus One is the best movie of the year.
It is. That puts it 2 votes ahead. Okay, sit down. No. Listen, I understand you were in the film, but you have to accept you can leave. Okay, and you too. Yep. All right.
Props to telling the kaiju to sit down.
I know.
That takes some balls.
Yep.
He has a temper problem.
Yeah, and he just stepped on the rickshaws. The little carts that poor Jim Bob was using to pull us up here. Oh, that's terrible. The entire cast is making their way up, but we're out of time. Sorry. All right, Josh.
They got knocked out due to heartbreak. Sadness got in their way. Sadness from Inside Out.
Yep.
Thanks everyone so much for participating in our poll. It means the world that anyone took even the 2 minutes it takes to fill out this little questionnaire. I appreciate it so much, and we're gonna keep making the SMACademy Awards a thing. That'll be our end of the year wrap up every year. So it'll be like our first episode of every new year. So happy New Year to everyone. Mm-hmm. And Alex, I hope you have a happy and safe New Year.
I hope you do too.
Prior to the year 2024 arriving. This has been a fun year. I don't know how we have gone through so many different things this year, but I feel like we hit a good groove with Talking Smack. We had some amazing guests. You might want to get the music ready for this one, Alex, because I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning of the year and make sure I don't miss anyone, because everyone deserves a shout out. So, of course, we have our regular Talking Smack crew. We have Alex, me, Matt, Becky, Beppo, Lewis, Scotty, and Ricky.
We're all going to share a microphone here, so just so you know, we're all coming up.
We have the guys from I Have Some Notes who came on in January for our Lego sequels discussion, which, again, Greg, Liam, Scott, thank you so much for taking the time. You guys don't have to, come down to our level for these things, but you take the time to hang out with us and talk movies, and it's greatly appreciated. Matt Groom from the Massive Verse. How did we get so many cool and amazing creatives on this year? Besides, me just saying, hey, can you spare an hour? And they're like, sure, because they're just that amazing. Aaron Alice from Watching Stuff for our Ant-Man and the Wasp episode. Justin Henson coming on for our Oscar bonus episode, plus our Creed episodes, and however many episodes Justin filled in for this year. Gary H. Lee, I still think people need to listen to that Magician's Elephant episode. It might not be the most engaging thing because we're not reviewing something, but I think it's such a fun and interesting conversation. We've got Joey Fitzgerald for Talking Lasso. What can I say about Joey that I haven't already said? I love that man. And the fact that we got to do 12 weeks of Talking Lasso while I was traveling the country makes my heart swell. And then we've also just got the Game Club pod, Slade, Joey, Tim, all you guys coming on for the Super Mario Brothers movie. We also have Katrina Dennis coming on for our Mandalorian Season 3 review. Katrina, again, someone who came down to our level for this. She did not have to take the time. She's an amazing Star Wars influencer, and it was just a pleasure to have her on, and hopefully she isn't scared away and will come back. Rainey came back for our Guardians of the Galaxy review from the Red Dove. Rainey, you are an amazing, beautiful, wonderful person. And again, I hope we can reconnect soon. Leo Allen, hey, the guy who writes our music, coming on several times, Franchise Fatigue, Star Wars, the aforementioned Tim Wembembo Fitzgerald coming on for the lore of Guilty Gear, just being, again, an amazing person. Leo, Justin Henson again, Justin coming on for our Barbie review. I have some notes. Greg coming on for our Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem review. Melissa Flores for our Massive Month. Justin Henson again for our Scary Season movie preview. Kyle Higgins for Massive Month. Matt from Decaying with the Boys with our Missed Assignments episode. Brendan from Unchefed for Futurama and Good Burger. The Game Club Pod coming back on for the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's, mainly Slade and Joey. Going. Antonio and Slade for Suzume. Antonio from The Cultworthy. Brendan again for Unchef, Justin for our bonus episode where Justin and I discussed Disney's Wish, Antonio for Godzilla -1, and Caesar from No on 15 for joining us last week for Rebel Moon. I'm wondering if I don't make him part of our Rebel Moon crew, just because that seems to be the theme of Rebel Moon is you assemble an amazing team. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what we do with Rebel Moon is we make our own Seven Samurai.
Heck yeah.
We just keep adding crew members for each movie that we do.
Damn right, that's what we need to do. That's what we will do.
But thank you again so much, everyone, for listening. Thank you so much for all the other podcasters and influencers who have joined us and creatives who have joined us. This has been a fantastic year of podcasting for me. Stressful at times. I cannot tell you how stressed out I was to get to that 100th episode and trying to coordinate everyone's schedules, even though I think we ended up doing 3 or 4 people on the episode. I really tried to get everyone on, but it just was not going to happen.
Yeah.
But it was still a lot of fun, and I think that's kind of where my year jumped off, is like once the stress of episode 100 came to a close, like I actually was able to enjoy the rest of the year because everything was just building up to episode 100 for me. But again, thanks again so much, everyone, for listening, taking the time to interact with us on social medias. It begins and ends with people listening and engaging with us. If we're not getting engagement, having these conversations with Alex and the other hosts is so much fun. But it is also to engage with the community in a way. And I think that we have found a really good platform and a really good community to engage with.
I agree. It's been a great year. You've had some fantastic guests on. It's been fun chatting with people. It is also a really great excuse for me to go like, I gotta leave the house. I gotta go record something.
I gotta go see a movie. I got this thing where they make me go see this movie. Yeah, I have to go see Godzilla -1 for a third time.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The requirement is 3 viewings and then a review.
But Alex, I think most importantly, thank you as well for taking on the mantle of co-host and being here pretty much every week. Neither of us has a perfect record for this year, but I think we are pretty close in terms of who has been on the most episodes. I think you and I are like right at neck and neck.
Well, it's been, like I said, it's been fun. The people you introduced me to, the friendships I made. I have to blame damn Archibald for starting to play the Five Nights at Freddy's games and reading the books. And because we have to do eventually a follow-up to that, because I now have like 3 pages of like, I have lore questions of what the hell is this?
Maybe we'll make it a bonus episode for whenever Five Nights at Freddy's 2 comes out. Because with the budget they had, I wouldn't be shocked if like by next October they're like, "Hey, it's coming out."
Oh yeah. But I'm glad this is going to be a yearly thing. I mean, we've just been having these private parties, but now we're recording them, and it's been great. It's been great.
We're not entitled to anything, so we don't take any of these downloads or listens or engagements for granted.
Nope.
Anyone taking the time to listen, it just please know from the bottom of my heart that it is greatly appreciated. There is nothing better than knowing that someone is out there is saying, "God, listen to this fucking dumbass and his stupid opinions." But I appreciate any kind of feedback and any kind of considerations. Because I openly admit I don't know everything. I don't know what is the right thing to do. I don't know what the wrong thing is to do in certain situations. I hope I know what the not wrong thing to do is. But in most cases, it's just my opinions, and I hope people can at least enjoy them for what they are as I present them. Because I one of the things that is not lost on me is the fact that we have this whole sarcastic rating system of must see or pass, because that's the point, is that there's no nuance to anything anymore. It's either the greatest thing ever or the worst thing ever, and there's no in between, even though everything mostly right now is just fine. If we can't have a discussion about certain things in cinema, and it's not fun if you can't have an open discussion.
Yeah.
If you're just like, I'm right, you're wrong, I'm smart, you're dumb, I'm big, you're small, the Danny DeVito thing from Matilda, why even engage with people if you're not trying to just have a conversation and gain a point of view? If you're just trying to gatekeep and be like, I'm the one with the knowledge, I am the knowledge keeper, you can't add new things because new things scare me and it means I need to learn new things, maybe nerd culture isn't for you. Like, I don't know. With that, me saying I'm a good nerd and you're a bad nerd, let's wrap up. Let's wrap up 2023 for us and kick off 2024 on a strong note. Alex, please let everyone know about our Discord.
Please join our Discord, have some conversations with us. It's tsmackpod@gmail.com. You know, that it's an open invitation. You can click the link below to go to it. It is a fun time where we just try to engage with a bit of fun and, you know, post what's coming, what we thought about what has been happening. You know, we look, you know, get you some good recommendations. It's a great time.
And it's the most direct way to be able to tell us we're dumb, if you feel so inclined, or if you want to just, you know, have a good conversation and have fun with people who aren't trying to take things too seriously. But you can follow us on all the social media platforms at Talking Smack Pod. We are on Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, Hive Social, Post News, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Lonnie's website. You can email us your thoughts, questions, comments, concerns at tsmackpod@gmail.com. Alex, who's remixing our musical themes this week?
Well, you'll be happy to know that the musical themes this week are in fact being remixed. We got them back. Punk to Daff is back. They reunited just for... okay, that's a typo. That's not them. It's not a bad remix, though.
Thank you to Leo Allen for our original musical themes, Beppo for our original avatars, Retro Ale Studios for our Ricky avatar. Please like, subscribe, rate, review on your podcatcher of choice. It goes a long way in moving us up those charts and putting us into a bigger pot, or a bigger fishbowl, or a bigger lake, whatever you want to call it. Pond, that would be the word. For us to play in as well. So please rate, review, and subscribe. Engagement is engagement. I really don't care if you give us a 1-star or a 4-star or whatever the rating system is. I just appreciate the engagement. And thank you so much for listening, dear listener. Please take care. I hope your new year was great, and we will see you next week when we preview 2024.
And watch Star Trek.
I hope you keep that meow in there.
That was well timed. Yeah, hello, kitten.
Watch Star Trek. Meh.
Who loves T-Smack?
I love T-Smack. Is it true? Mm-hmm. I do. Ooh. Rage! Rage!